Welcome to the Moneypants Solution digital online course, where we're going to show you how to set up the Moneypants solution in your home. This is step 5, the final step. Save, shop, and spend. In this step, we'll explain why your kids aren't going to spend all their money on candy. We'll introduce and demonstrate the directed spending method. We'll explain how to use hand-me-downs, gifts, and free stuff to your advantage, and how to deal with doting grandparents who could unintentionally upend your system. And we'll show you how to avoid 2 easy-to-make parenting mistakes. First off, step 5 is all about 3 things: saving, shopping, and spending. When it comes to savings, it's important to realize that there is a difference between a savings account and a slush fund. A savings account has a purpose or goal attached. For example, you may be saving for a down payment on a house, a new car, or a boat. A kid might be saving for a Disneyland ticket, a mountain bike, or a computer. A slush fund, on the other hand, is money that has no defined purpose. It ends up going to whatever impulse buy comes along. In the Moneypants solution, your kids already have a slush fund. We call it fun money. As for their savings accounts, we recommend that your kids set goals. If your kids are using point chart B and they regularly put aside 10% of their income into savings, that is nearly $200 per year. Have them attach a goal for that money. What would they really like to spend that $200 on? If they have a plan attached to their savings, they will be much more satisfied with where that money goes in the end. For example, one 6-year-old girl wanted to spend part of summer vacation at Grandma's house, so her savings that year was directed at purchasing a plane ticket. Her savings had a purpose, and she wasn't about to spend it on anything else. The point is not for your kids to have large savings accounts by the time they leave home. The point is to teach your kids the habit of saving. The objective is to teach them to save for their goals and the big purchases they want to make, and to learn delayed gratification. It is a habit. The habit of delayed gratification will save your children thousands of dollars in debt and interest payments throughout their life. Because instead of buying what they want right then using credit, they'll save up and have the money. In addition, they will be much more likely to actually buy and do the things that matter the most to them because their savings has a plan. We knew a man who needed a new car. He saved up $23,000 in cash. He researched prices online and found the car he wanted. When he went to the dealership, they wanted to sign him up for a payment plan. He refused and instead paid cash for the car, and in the process saved himself about $10,000 in interest and loan processing fees. That's the way to do it. He shopped around until he found the price he wanted. It's too easy to overpay when you're using credit. If up to this point you've always taken your kids to the mall to go shopping and you're the one who's paid the bills, then your kids probably don't know much about how to shop. They may not know that they can do shopping on the internet. They may not have heard of consignment stores or thrift stores. They may be unaware of garage sales. They may feel that the only option is to buy stuff new clothes, new shoes, new bikes. But the reality is a lot of stuff can be bought used and often in excellent condition for a fraction of the original price. If your kids know what their options are, they'll do the work to shop smart. Since it's their money, they're going to be highly motivated to listen to you, the parents, when you give shopping advice and where the best deals are. They may still insist on going to the mall. That's their choice. They may still insist on getting designer clothes. That's their choice as well. But for those kids who don't want to spend all their money on new items, it's important to let them know what options are out there. For instance, your son may want to stop getting haircuts at the barber and instead buy himself a pair of hair clippers at Costco and watch YouTube videos to learn how to cut his hair himself. Your daughter may want to buy jewelry off the internet instead of paying quadruple the price at the mall. She'll have more jewelry for the same amount she would have spent at a jewelry store. Learning about all their options is only going to help your kids in the long run. We espouse what we call the principle of shopping. Always be on the lookout for a good deal. Never think you have to settle for what's in front of you or available at the moment. In this day and age, there are literally dozens of options for just about every product and service. For example, one young woman had saved thousands of dollars from working odd jobs for years. She bought a good used car for $500 from a family member. But when her parents informed her she had to start buying her own car insurance, she assumed that all car insurance policies would cost the same. She asked what company her parents used and then went and purchased a policy from them. She ended up paying $1,200 a year for insurance and quickly spent her savings on car insurance. She blew her life savings on car insurance because she had no idea she needed to shop around and get quotes. Although you as the parents are handing over some financial responsibilities to your children, you don't need to do it cold turkey. Lead them and give them advice. Let them know there are options. There are always options. You as the parent are helping direct your children to make choices, but the final choice is up to them. If you start teaching your kids how to shop when they're young, your kids will know they have options and will be smart shoppers at a young age. Which leads us to the directed spending method. This is the concept where you allow your kids to make choices within certain boundaries you as the parents set. This concept works for all ages, from toddlers to teens. It helps answer the following questions, too. How do I make sure my kids spend their money on clothes they actually need? What if I want my kids to take piano lessons, but they don't want to pay for them? My son wants to play football, but in our family we play soccer. What do I do? We answer these questions and more in the directed spending video. You'll watch that at the end of this section. The directed spending method helps transition kids to financial independence. With that said, parents may be wondering why their kids wouldn't just spend all their money on candy and toys. Well, they may want to at first, but they'll quickly realize they can't, and pretty soon they won't even want to. There are 2 reasons why your children won't spend all their money on candy and toys. Number 1, because it's going to be a family rule. As a parent, you set the rules for your home. The Moneypants solution is not a free-for-all. Just because your kids now have money, it's still your house. You set the rules. You pay the mortgage, you pay the electricity, you pay for the food and water. It's your home. As such, you decide what's brought into your house. Now, your family probably has its own set of rules. Don't think that just because you are now paying your kids that the family rules no longer apply. You can most certainly set restrictions on what your kids can buy and bring into your home. In fact, we strongly recommend you clearly state what your family policies are and what's allowed in your home and what isn't. Here are a few examples from various families. Feel free to adopt and modify any of these rules to match your family's unique situation. One family has a no candy policy. When you're at a party, you can have all the candy you want. You just can't bring it home. If it makes it home, it becomes property of mom and dad. They also don't allow gum. It almost always ends up in the carpet or hair. Another family has banned golf balls because they almost always break windows. One family doesn't allow toys or games with marbles, and they don't allow balloons either. These are primarily safety issues. They have toddlers and babies who put stuff into their mouths, and marbles and balloon pieces would choke and potentially kill a baby. Another family has a rule that mom and dad are in charge of all media in the home. Kids cannot purchase music or movies that are offensive or do not comply with the family standards. The parents have to approve any and all media purchases, as well as when the media is used. The kids cannot just turn on a movie whenever they want. Even if they own the TV and own the movie, it's still their parents' house. Even though the kids may own their own iPhone or laptop computer, they still have to abide by the house rules, or they lose the ability to use that item in their home. We know a family that won't allow video games of any sort because the parents feel that they're addicting as well as time wasters, antisocial, and in addition, many are violent or explicit. Their kids are not allowed to play them on the computer, the phones, or the TV. One time, one of their children got caught playing video games on the computer that child had bought with their own money. As a consequence, the parents restricted their kid from using the computer for 2 weeks. That was their rule. Many families don't allow drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, or pornography. Some even restrict power drinks. Other families require their children to dress modestly. They have specific rules as to what qualifies as modest for both boys and girls. They also don't allow any clothing that may contain offensive images, graphics, or words. Now, you may or may not agree with the other parents' rules. The point is, when your kid has their own house and pays all the bills, then they can make their own rules. But as long as they are in your house, they abide by your rules. Since you, the parents, pay the bills, you, the parents, make the rules about what comes into your house and what goes on inside your house. The second reason your kids won't spend all their money on candy is because they have a lot of other much more pressing financial obligations. The Moneypants solution is not like a traditional allowance where all the money is fun money or pocket money. In the Moneypants system, your kids have specific financial responsibilities. Only 10% of their income can be spent on toys, treats, and entertainment. For kids using Point Chart B, for example, that's only about $4 a week, and that's provided they earned the maximum amount. If they want to go to the movies, they'll have to save up for about 2 weeks. That leaves little room for wasting money on candy, especially if they want a treat when they're at the theater. The reason why the Moneypants solution works is because there is a careful balance between the money your kids are able to earn and the financial obligations they're given. But there are two things that can upend this delicate balance: free stuff and doting grandparents. Free stuff from friends and neighbors, the generosity of grandparents, and over-the-top Christmas and birthday giving can all absolutely ruin the Moneypants system that you have worked so hard to set up in your home. It will disrupt the environment of need. However, if you handle freebies correctly, they will actually enhance the Moneypants solution and provide you with extra money for the family vacation budget. The way it works is this: if someone gives you something for free, thank them profusely, but don't just turn around and pass it off to your children for free. Have your kids work for it and pay for it. For example, someone gives you a bag full of clothes for free. Don't just turn around and give it to your kids for free. Instead, on payday, bring out the bag of clothes. Let your kids choose items that they want and sell them to them at thrift store prices. This way, your kids only purchase items they want and will take care of, and all the money you collect goes into the family vacation budget. Any items not purchased go to Goodwill. It works really well. Another example. Grandma and Grandpa offer to pay for your daughter's dance class. Paying for dance class is something you've already discussed with your daughter. It's on her expenses worksheet, and it's something she has the ability to pay for by herself if she works hard and does her chores. Now, in this situation, don't turn down the grandparents' generosity. Graciously accept, and then explain to your daughter that she still has to pay for the dance classes herself. She'll pay the money she would have given to the dance school directly into the family vacation fund. This is the right thing to do for several reasons. Having to pay for her own dance classes is what is motivating your daughter to work and develop healthy habits consistently. Your daughter is much more likely to pay attention and apply herself in her dance class if she's the one paying and thus has skin in the game. The whole Moneypants idea is getting away from entitlement, or we need to stop giving our kids everything for free. Grandparents are notorious for spoiling kids. They can't help it. But you can. Also, remember one of the Moneypants solution's guiding principles we introduced in the beginning. Don't do for others what they can and should do for themselves. If you do for others what they should have done for themselves, you are not helping them. In fact, you are taking away opportunities for growth and development. On the other hand, it's only okay for your kids to accept freebies from the grandparents if it's an expense you as a family cannot afford and otherwise wouldn't be able to do. In those scenarios, however, we still recommend you have your kids work for what they get. Have them earn or pay back partially what they can. Maybe have them mow the grandparents' lawn or help in their garden, so it's like a job outside the home, or other similar activities. Ideally, if they live close by, have your kids earn the money working for the grandparents. And explain all this to the grandparents. Get them on board. They will appreciate your efforts to teach their grandkids to work for what they get. They will appreciate the good kids you are trying to raise. Explain to your kids that people aren't allowed giving them money and things for free. If someone gives your kids stuff for free without your permission as the parent, kindly explain to your kids that it will go into their prize bag and they will have the opportunity to purchase it on payday. Which leads us to two more common mistakes parents make. Many parents make the mistake of going to extremes. They micromanage their kids' finances and don't allow their kids to make any decisions. Parents do all the shopping and make all the choices. They dress their kids a certain way, and that's how it is. Too often, in these situations, parents are using their kids to create an image for themselves, or to reflect their own styles and tastes. It's like the football dad who makes his scrawny 80-pound teen play football because that's what the dad likes, not because it's what the son wants to do. Or the mom who won't let her daughter buy Hello Kitty because the mom doesn't like it. At some point, those parents won't be able to micromanage any longer and they have to let go. It's usually when their child leaves home. Unfortunately, this situation leaves the kid wildly unprepared for the real world. Suddenly the kid is on his own at age 18, not knowing how to shop or make financial decisions. They end up in the extreme opposite situation. Instead of being micromanaged by their parents, now they suddenly have no guidance and no boundaries and no experience. They are totally on their own. They make expensive financial mistakes. That's a bad time to start learning about money management, how money works, and how to shop and make decisions. Mistakes can be in the thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. All of this could have been avoided had they been given financial guidance earlier in life and had more of a transition period to being on their own. Instead of flipping a switch and suddenly giving your kids all the financial responsibility at once when they leave home, you as the parents should ease into it. There has to be a transition. Directed spending is designed to help avoid these extremes. Kids are still going to make financial mistakes, but it's so much better for them to do it while they are young and under the tutelage of their parents. The mistakes are smaller in the $10 to $20 range as opposed to the $10,000 to $20,000 range. Avoid the extremes by using the directed spending method to create a smooth transition to financial independence. The other mistake many parents make is not teaching their kids to track spending. Kids have their expense sheets filled out and they're making money using the Moneypants solution and they're shopping using the directed spending method, but they don't write down where their money went. They're buying themselves clothes and sports equipment and presents for friends, but they quickly forgot how much they've spent in each category. For example, they don't know how much money they have left to spend on clothes for the rest of the year, or they wonder if they have enough money to buy those basketball shoes or more socks. The simple solution is to keep receipts of what you bought. On payday, your kids should then cross off the items they've purchased or paid for that week. Jot down how much they spent and for what item. Just keep a running tally on the back of the expenses worksheet. Then toss the receipt into an old shoebox for safekeeping. The reason we keep receipts is for returns and later in life for tax purposes. For example, one young lady bought a new pair of sandals with her hard-earned money at a store, but didn't keep the receipt. The sandals promptly broke 2 weeks later, and the young lady had no recourse. She couldn't return the shoes because she had no receipt. She lost out. The solution? Keep receipts in a shoebox. Write down and track spending. What a great exercise to prepare your kids for adulthood and eventually running a home of their own. And that's it. That's the end of step number 5 and also the final step for setting up the Moneypants solution in your home. Here's your homework. Watch the directed spending video with your family. Read the Q&A for step number 5. Let your kids start doing their jobs. Yes, it's finally time to get to work. Let your kids start marking points on their charts. Start doing job inspections. At the end of the week, hold payday. As soon as possible, start using the consistency bonus. Rinse and repeat. Speaking of repeating, the Moneypants solution has a lot of new ideas and concepts for most parents. It's a lot to take in, so we recommend you rewatch the videos for any sections you have questions about. We also recommend you come back and rewatch all the videos after you've had a chance to implement the system for a while. You'll get a lot more out of it. Take the 30-day challenge. Do your best to use the full Moneypants solution for the next 30 days. Just go all in. Once you've done that and gotten your feet wet, so to speak, come back here and go through the course again to find answers to any questions that may have come up. Repetition helps ingrain new ideas and habits. Watch the videos over and over again. Soon the concepts and ideas will become second nature. And as a result, there will be less fighting, less nagging, and less anger in the home. There will be more harmony, more peace, and more unity. Your kids will become better friends. They will be developing good habits and a strong work ethic. They will also learn to handle money, save for short and long-term goals, and shop and develop their own sense of style. You and your spouse will have more free time to spend pursuing personal improvement and also for spending one-on-one time with your kids. Family relationships will improve and life will be satisfying. Parenting will be simpler and more enjoyable. Good luck. And remember, no one should leave home without pants on.